Okay, this is part 3 of the Pong tutorial. Okay, we're starting to get quite a bit of code here, so what we're going to do is we're going to annotate it, and we're going to put score, display score up here. Okay, that's just a remark in the program because it has a semicolon. It appears green, so it ignores everything here. This is just for our information. And then we'll put in draw, move ball, draw, move ball, etc. And the next one we'll put in, okay, is for the player. Okay, draw, move, player, etc. Okay, and also we'll do that for the computer. Okay, because there are 3 objects in the game, so we're going to do it for all of them. Okay, and that just helps us to see better. Computer, sorry. Okay, so that just separates it out so we know what is what. It makes it easier to read. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is, well, the very next thing we need to do is actually save it, and I'm going to save it as Pong 3. Okay, and also save it when you finish this tutorial as Pong 3 as well. Okay, so we want the computer to move depending on whether the ball is above or below the computer bat. Okay, so it's another one of the if-then statements. So if ball underscore y is, get this the right way round, larger than computer underscore y. So if, remember, y increases as you go down the screen. Okay, so if ball y is, the y position of the ball is larger than the y position of the computer, then it is actually below the bat. Okay, so then we want it to, the y position to move accordingly, which would be down the screen. Okay, so that would be +5. Okay, so if the ball, get this the right way around, y increases down the screen, so if the y position of the ball is larger than the y position of the computer, then it's below it, so you want it to move down the screen. Okay, and similarly in the other direction as well. Okay, so we just change the inequalities around. Okay, and put it like that. So it's going to move at a speed of 5, so it's going to move slightly faster than our human player can move the bat. Okay, and it seems to be working fine, and I can move my one. Obviously it's still following the ball as it goes off the screen relative to its position. You'll also notice it can move off the edge of it actually moves off the edge of the screen as well. Okay, so we can simply put in those restrictions exactly the same as we did for the player. So let's copy those from the part of the player. Okay, and instead of putting player, of course we put computer. Okay, since we're only worried about the y positions, and they both follow the same pattern for the y positions, it's only the x positions that are different, so we can just literally just copy and paste this. Okay, so that will stop it going off the top and the bottom of the screen. Okay, Okay, so that's that problem solved. Also, we've got no collision detection. Okay, so we want to go, we use the command if images collide, and remember they're images because they're actually bitmaps, they're not drawn rectangles, otherwise we'd have to use something like rectangles overlap or some other kind of parameters, but as they're actual graphics that we've made, we can use images collide, otherwise we'd have to use something else if there were rectangles drawn to the screen, for example. Okay, using the rect command. Okay, but don't worry about that. It's images collide because they are images. Bitmap images is the type of image we're using. Okay, so we want the parameter for the image of the computer, that. Okay, and the computer at the X position, the computer at the Y position, and 0 for frame 0. Okay, so we need to tell it what the image is, its X position, its Y position, and its frame number. Okay, we're not using frames, so we're just going to leave that as 0. And we need to do the same for the ball. Okay, then we want to change the direction of the ball in the X direction, so speed underscore X equals minus speed underscore X. Okay, I'll just move that across so you can see that a little bit better. Okay, so if these two things collide at frame 0, we're not using frames, that's why it's 0, then speed X equals minus speed X. By the way, if you click on the command and then you press F1, it can come up with the syntax down here for it. Okay, so that's how to do that, and let's try that out, I guess. Okay, and there we go, and it goes straight through my bat. Okay, so we want to put that also, well, a similar images collide command for the player. Okay, and let's put that here. You can see why I've put the semicolons to annotations to separate out the code, and that would be player. Okay, and we want to do that for all of it. So this is going to do it with respect to player and the ball. Okay, so now when we play it, it plays, but trouble is it's rather good at it. In fact, it's too good. Okay, so we need to fix this. Okay, so we need a little bit of AI. Okay, and we're going to follow a similar kind of pattern to when we did the player. Okay, so we're going to introduce a random variable and we're going to make it miss or not be as good. So we're going to go random to introduce a random variable. We'll just call it random. Okay, and put RND for random 1 to 3. So it's going to pick a random number between 1 and 3. Okay, and let's do the going up position first, or the going up. Okay, and we're going to use a nested if. So we're going to put an if inside of an end if. Okay, so we're going to put more if statements inside. So if this is true, get rid of this for the time being. Okay, I'm putting a semicolon in front because we're going to use it in a minute. So it's going to ignore everything in green, remember that. Okay, so if the ball is, I've forgotten which way round now. Okay, if the ball Y is less than computer Y, then obviously it's above the bat. So if random equals 1, so it has a 1 in 3 chance, then we'll just not move the bat. Okay, so it just won't move, it'll just stay where it is. There's a 1 in 3 chance that it'll just stay where it is per loop. Okay, otherwise we can use else and end if. So this is an if, else, end if. So in any other situation, if random equals 1, then do this, we can eliminate the then and put it on the next line. Okay, so if it's that condition, if random equals 1, then don't move the bat. If random equals 2 or random equals 3, i.e. else, then we want to move the bat in the correct direction. Okay, so we can do that there, and then it will react accordingly. Okay, oh, gosh, hang on, just get that on the right line. Okay, okay, so we also want to do that for the other position, and for that we simply copy. Okay, we don't need this anymore, we're going to change it, and all we're going to do is do it for down and up. Okay, so this is for when it's moving up the screen, and we also want it for when it's moving down the screen. So we'll do that for when it's moving down the screen. So we'll just copy the stuff in green that we've just taken out the program temporarily. So we can copy that. Obviously this is larger than, so that should be larger than, and that should be +5, so this should be +5. Okay, so we don't need that line anymore, get rid of that, and hopefully this should work somewhat. Okay, it kind of works, it still misses it though. Okay, so you need to fiddle around with the figures. Let's try 6 and 6. Okay, and see if it becomes too good. Okay, so it's still not good enough, so let's make it a little faster as it goes up, because it tends to miss. Okay, on 6, so it's probably going to miss after a few times on the way down. Okay, so it's eventually it's going to miss on the way down. Okay, trust me on this one, if it's missed on the way up, eventually it's going to miss on the way down. Okay, so you get some kind of play. You'll notice it's a bit jerky, but that's because of the video camera software. It's actually very smooth on my computer while it's playing it, and that's because of the video. Okay, I do have 4 megs of RAM and a serious graphic card, but even playing Pong while recording video, it will miss eventually. Oh, and I've missed. Anyway, trust me, it will miss with these ratios eventually. Okay, after about 20 times, which is good enough. Okay, it gives some play to the game. Okay, and the other thing I just wanted to do is improve this a bit, just by putting player and we put the plus sign just to differentiate between adding a variable in between. Okay, so when we want to switch between putting in variables and putting in text, we just use the plus sign. It's just the notation Blitz Basic uses. There are lots of examples in the Blitz help files, okay, on how to do this. Okay, so now when we run it, we can see it's more in the center of the screen. Okay, so there is a problem. Once you lose, the score doesn't change and it doesn't replace the ball, so we'll deal with that next. Okay,